Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing a bit of a different video. We're going to be looking at the personal fleet that I've got in Star Citizen. We're going to have a bit of a chat and sort of the reasons behind why I got some of them. So just for context, I only started playing Star Citizen back in October last year. Went through all of IAE and everything, and it's just got me hooked. I love the game, and as well, considering that the new patch 3.23 is coming out, I figured, let's have a look at the fleet. These are probably going to change, and I'll go through some of them. Some I sort of think not too happy about, but we'll go through them. I figured we'll start off with the small ships first, the fighters and everything like that, and then work our way up to some of the probably more bigger and not quite sure what I'm going to do with them ships. So let's go. First up we have, now this one is sort of one of those ships where I think I got drawn into the looks of it rather than anything. I had a play with it during IAE and absolutely loved it. Loved how it looked, the little wings being spread out. It looked cool. For me, it looks a bit like a Klingon ship, and it looks really nice. My only problem with it is that it is a glass cannon, and as well, it's got these blades on the side of the ship, as if you're like supposed to ram ships and everything. But it's pretty useless. And as well, with the new damage engine coming in, I have no idea how that's going to work either. So I think this is probably going to be one of the ships that I will replace. It's also, it's got alien tax on it. And there are a lot of other fighters that I don't know. I might prefer to get. I know at this time that I'm recording, they've just released the F7C Mark II. So I might have a look at see if that's a good fit in terms of replacing this. It is a medium fighter compared to this, which is a light fighter, but we'll see. But I thought it was a pretty cool ship when I initially got it. I mean, it's what the lore says that it's one of the first ships that was encountered. It's a pretty cool looking ship. I just can't get on with it. I mean, you can't replace anything on it, really. They're really powerful, but can't replace them. Same with the missiles. Just there's no wiggle room here. It's like, this is it. This is what you get. Deal with it. I'm not a fan. Now that I've had it for quite a while, now that I've tried playing with it in terms of doing bounty missions and everything, I just, no, it's not for me, I'm afraid. So this one, when, if I do another one of these fleet videos, I'll probably replace it. So that's the blade, and then the next one I've got here is Legionnaire. Now this one I think could be pretty cool. There's quite a bit of lore on it in terms of how it was built and developed. It's currently still not in game, but I think possibly that might be because of the damage engine for how boarding works. But this is going to be pretty cool for boarding ships, and I might combine this with one of the later ships that I'll show you later. I think it would be quite a pretty cool game loop. Especially if we get a couple of people, get a good boarding team, and then, you could just board a Javelin, board an Idris, whatever, and however they manage to make that work, as long as it's not, you have to line up a docking thing during the middle of battle, try and get this to board another ship. But the lore on it's pretty cool. Some of it says that it was really, really classified, and that they might have based it on a Vandal boarding ship. I think they called it the Cleaver. We might be able to see what a cleaver looks like in Squadron 42. I don't know, but it's got that sort of gaming loop that I think is pretty cool. A lot of the ships that you'll find in the fleet here, they're all for different parts of the gaming loop. Because I don't really want to sit and do just one thing, because I'll just get bored. But I find the options that the Legionnaire gives in terms of those big battles, and also potentially for pirate sort of gameplay. Being able to board easily helps with that. So, this one I think stays. Obviously, until it gets in game, then I can't really tell whether it's going to be good or not. So we will save judgment on this, but I do like the look of it and like what it can bring. The next one is sort of another one in terms of combat play, and that's the Zeus MKII MR. So this one's the bounty hunting variant, and that's just basically it. That's why I've got it in my fleet. I like this new style of RSI design, the sort of the triangular, but as well, the options to cut things from jumps and everything like that. Compared to, say, like Cargo 1 and the Explorer 1, I just found this one to be a better option. It's got plenty of guns. You can crew it with 3 people. So for those days you don't have loads of people on, it's great to just, you know, go around with a couple of friends and do some bounty missions, however those evolve as well, because it's within the ship. It's got the storage area for people that you've captured. But yeah, it looks nice. It gives a good game loop. Obviously it's not in yet. It might be in next year. I don't know, because you know, CIG are being on with a lot of the RSI ships, so we might get this soon, because I think they're doing it where they're taking elements from the ships that they're currently building and just potentially reworking them to make it quicker to be able to put these ships out. So, you know, we might be able to see this soon, and see what it's like. And until it comes out, then yeah, you can't really put much judgment on it, but it looked cool to me, and yeah, I like the look of it. And the game loop, it's another element that we can play with a couple of friends. But then from the Zeus, we then have the Crusader C1 Spirit. Now this one was pretty straightforward really to get. It's really easy to fly. It's pretty quick. So as a daily driver, it's pretty damn good. You know, if you just want to go and do a couple of delivery missions, if you just want to go and do some bunker missions, this is easy to get in and out. I wouldn't use it to do bounty missions. You can do, but I'm not going to bother with it. Got a tractor beam on the back. So yeah, you can bring whatever you want really. I can't remember what it fits in the back of it, but it can fit a couple of vehicles in there. And yeah, it's a lot quicker to fly in Atmo and everything. So for those bunker missions, it's just easy in and out. You're done and dusted. For me, it was just a nice simple one. If you just want to go and do those missions, it's just easy to get in, and that's it. It's, you know, I wouldn't use it for much else. To be fair, I use a different ship as my daily driver at the moment. That's not because I don't like this one. It's just I like the look of the other one a bit more. But yeah, this one is just super easy to get around in. Yeah, this one will definitely stay within the fleet. And then we've got, so it's one of my favorite looking ships, and that is the Corsair. It's just different. You know, it's labeled as an exploration ship. So you know, the center of it, where the screens are all blank, whatever that's going to do, then will be all explorer-y stuff. But until that sort of gameplay comes in, for me, it's got the vibes of the Expanse a little bit in terms of the rugged interior. It's got plenty of storage in there. It's got a ridiculous amount of pilot weapons. I mean, at the moment, I'm using a mix of like 2 laser cannons and then the rest ballistics, and that I can use with bounty missions pretty easily. Can go all the way up to the top bounty missions. You know, it is a great ship that I love going around with it. The only issue with it is it can be a bit slow and a bit clunky to fly, but I think the aesthetics of it and everything just outweigh it for me. So this one's staying. It's not going anywhere. It has the ability to have 4 people on, so I've not had that yet, so haven't had all the turrets manned while going up against anything. But when we do, it will be a great little run around ship. And as well, I think when Pyro opens, this is probably a good option for exploration, with PvP being just enabled all the time. So this one is my go-to daily driver at the moment, just because of the way I like piloting it and running around with it. So this one is definitely here to stay, and when the exploration game loop comes around, we'll see how this fares. It will be interesting to sort of see how it works. But you know, if exploration gameplay goes into, say, Vandal sectors or anything like that, then this one's probably ideal with the amount of firepower it's got. It can hold its own for a while and continue to explore. And then we've got the more big and, you know, more combat orientated ship here, where we've got the Perseus. Now this one I'm not sure about yet. It is pretty cool looking. I don't know when it's going to come out. You know, the lore of it says that it was decommissioned, and so RSI retired it, but then during some mission during the Vandal War, they sent them out, and basically they managed to destroy a bunch of Vandal destroyers while the other ships were beyond repair. So then they got asked to restart making them, and then they made one available for the civilians as well. This one's like one of those, I guess you would call it a Corvette or something, but it's got 2 huge size 7 guns on the front, Sort of seated position in terms of where you're flying it from is pretty cool. You know, you're right above everything. It's just angry, and I love the look of it. Whether it's any good, I don't know. We'll have to see. But it will be close to being done once they've done the other RSI ships. So yeah, we'll see what happens with this. I think it's supposed to be competing against the Hammerhead. I'm not sure. Hammerhead's sort of got guns all over the shop on it. This one's mostly front facing. And I sort of see this one working with, say, the Polaris, to sort of help essentially take down what the Polaris has sort of damaged with their torpedoes. So yeah, so this one, you know, it's not too big either. You know, six is the max crew on it, so you don't need a huge fan or whatever to be able to man this ship. So you know, you can still take it out with a couple of friends, and it will do some pretty decent damage. So I like the look of it. I look forward to seeing it in game. Whether I keep it in the fleet or not, I don't know. We'll just have to see. Then as well, we've got another RSI ship. So I seem to have quite a lot of RSI ships, but so this one is the Galaxy. But I wasn't going to get this one, but then they announced that it was going to enable base building with it. So we've got the other capital ship that does base building. I can't remember the name of it. I think it might be the Orion or something. Didn't really want a big capital ship to do base building in. Now this one's supposed to be modular, so you know, you've got cargo, you've got a refinery, and you've got a med bay option as well. So I presume that they're going to add a base building module to this. I quite like the look of this. It's a bit like the Zeus. It's just bigger and chunkier, and with all of the gubbins around the cargo bay and everything at the back. You could probably fit an exploration ship in it as well. So if you are doing base building, a ship in the back of it, while you've got, say, a med bay or something in there, or the base building module, and then fly around, explore, find a good place to have a base, and then use this to build that initial base. I don't think it'll probably be able to build as big a base as the Orion. Yeah, I think it would end up being quite a good... Oh no, it's not the Orion, it's the Pioneer, right? Yeah, so the Pioneer, I presume, will be able to build the biggest base, because it is that capital ship base builder. Whereas this one, it's still a large ship, but I don't think it'll be able to build as big a base. But it depends on the size of the org we have and everything, so it may be enough. You know, even then, we can still buy the ships in game when it comes out, so we're not at a loss really. But this as a start to build bases is pretty damn good, and with the modularity of it, you know, we can swap things in and out, and you know, figure out what we want to do. The end. Again, with this one, apparently it could be closer to release because of all the other work that's being done with RSI ships. So we might actually have a lot of this fleet available to use in the near future. And then we've got the Arrastra. So this, so before this, I actually had the Orion for mining. Again, with like all of the gaming loops, I wanted to make sure we were covered. So you know, we could do a bit of each. I didn't really like, I think it's the mole, wasn't a fan of the look, so I didn't really want that as part of the mining operation. So I had the Orion, but it's huge. And when this came out, it's sort of that middle ground between being able to do huge amounts of mining, you know, doing the huge thing in space, but also because of it, smaller profile, and being able to store things on itself, because the Orion, I think you end up having to have like a blooming cargo ship with it to be able to do it, and that sort of extra effort just didn't appeal. So I'd rather have all of us, you know, 5 people in this, on the mining lasers, in the refinery, all of that within the ship, so you know, we know that we're safe. We do ever encounter someone who's going to come after us, we're all in the same ship, can get away or fight them off, or have the escort. So you know, we just need one escort rather than having 2 ship that can't really do much and then 1 ship between them to defend. So this one just gave a better sort of game loop for me for the mining. How it works, we don't know yet. It was only announced at IAE, so we'll see how long it takes to do it. But I like it as well because it's got the refinery inside there. It's got all of the mining lasers and everything. So for me, it was a no-brainer to swap this away from the Orion. And as well, I like the look of it. I got it with the the Nocturne paint as well. So all black. It looks sexy. Yeah, so I look forward to seeing this in action, how it works with large scale mining, because it was just a better option than the Orion. And then we have one of the ships that I'm really looking forward to, and is supposedly close to being completed. So this is the Polaris. It is beast of I guess they would call it it's sort of a Corvette style capital ship is what they call it. The lore behind it's pretty cool. It was built to fast tracked based on the Vandal attack, and it has been made available for citizens. It is a bit of a beast, I would say. It's got the ability to have a ship docked inside of it as well. So this is where I was thinking how the Legionnaire might fit in. The Polaris is basically torpedo runner. We go in with the Corvette, take out their shields, and then as this is sort of leaving and departing, you let out the Legionnaire and you board that other capital ship. How that will work, I don't know. We'll see if it will work, but I figured that would be quite a cool hit and run tactic. This I see as being a hit and run capital ship. I don't see it as one of those ones, that is just standing out in space, taking hits with fighters flying around it, trying to take it out. This is one where, you're going in, ambush, knock down their shields, cripple their ship, board it, or even destroy it if you've got a couple of Perseuses with you. This I see as being a pretty cool war machine. It will have its place. Well, we'll find out where it has its place and how the game loop works. I see this as it's not facing off in a massive space battle. It's coming in and out of the battle to be able to do damage, get out of there so it doesn't get destroyed. That I quite like, sort of a game loop in terms of the sort of large scale base battle option. And then you have the extra ship in there, so pop in a fighter or the Legionnaire, help board and take down other capital ships as well. So I'm really looking forward to this. When it comes out, I don't know, it might be IAE this year it comes out, so I will be definitely messing around with this as well. It's probably one of the biggest cruise ships that I've got in the fleet. I think a max of 14. It makes me quite excited for this one. I quite like the idea of how this will work. One of the ones that I'm really looking forward to. If that boarding loop works, that will be really cool. It's being able to sort of cripple a ship with this and then board it to take it over. I don't know, so how in Starfield they had the disable it and then board it, which was just a horrible experience. This I feel give quite a really cool experience for that disabling and boarding game loop here. And then we've got another different game loop. So this is probably my favorite game loop at the moment. It's so chilled out. I love the Reclaimer. It is a hefty boy. It's horrendous to fly in atmosphere, so I hope they sort out the docking ring so that we can just dock in space, because flying this up and down, I think at the moment I'm using Orison as my base for this, but flying it in and out of atmosphere, it is a bit of a nightmare. The reason I use Orison is because it's a floating base and there's less chance of me smashing it into the ground with the way that this just sinks in atmosphere. But I really love this game loop. You can do it solo, it's a really easy ship to fly around solo. You're basically being a bit of a space trucker, space bin man, going around cleaning up all the rubbish in space and then stacking all those stuff in the cargo hold and everything. It's just just want to chill out for a bit, and that's an easy way of just spending a couple of hours doing cleanup. So I love this ship. It is, once you're in space, it's fine to fly. It's got a lot of elements. So at the moment, I don't see. There's a couple of annoyances with it. It's the way that they've got the hold, where basically salvaging stuff. But the hold is for both the production and other one. I can't remember what it's called. But both of those types go into the same storage area. So you end up potentially, if you're going for both types of material, you can end up with say 0.01 of a certain material. You don't quite get as much out of it as you should do. So what I've found is you just turn up, the fork opens, you dismantle it and then take the material that way. I would like the fork do different things rather than just sending out a wave to disintegrate. But again, I think that might be because of the damage engine. I think maybe when they release I think it's Vulcan or whatever it is, But when they release that, maybe we'll be able to say the fork turns into a cruncher or a laser, and it just chops bits off, and then you can sort of process it that way to be a bit more of a experience rather than just turning up and base magicking the ships to disintegrate. That's really my only sort of gripe with it. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be redone inside. I mean, the kitchen, I don't know how they've lit that, but the glare on it is horrendous. And then as well, there's the things like the drones and other stuff that's inside that isn't really doing anything. The turret terminal doesn't really work very well. But I think updating the interiors and sort of updating this a bit would make this pretty cool. The other reason I love it is it does give me Firefly vibes. I have called mine Like a Leaf on the Wind. Obviously, when you look at Firefly, it's not exactly the same, but there's a few elements of it that make me feel like it's Firefly, and I think the concept of it works as well. It had plenty of storage on the Firefly, and this one, sort of meets that sort of similar style. This one is definitely staying. It is my favorite loop of the game at the moment. I am not going to get rid of this anytime soon. And in terms of other types of game loop, so this one intrigued me. So this is the Endeavour. It is the space research ship. It's got a bunch of modules on it. It like literally anything under the sun with landing, super collider, a telescope, medical bay. It's got a research thing and a fuel thing. But any module you could think of it's got, and I know this one is not going to be ready anytime soon. There's just too many game loops with this. There's too many. I don't like what even is the space, the research game loop anyway. What's that going to do? So I've got it. I am interested to see what's going to happen with it. When I'm going to be able to use it, I have no idea. It is a very cool concept. I mean, all the modules are amazing. Well, whether they are amazing or not, I don't know yet. But the possibilities of what they could bring, and how that then takes Star Citizen forward. So like, you can only get certain things by researching it, or you create new products by researching it, and that's a great value. So it might be a thing that helps progress the game even further. And apparently, according to the wiki and everything, it can be manned by 5 people. So it is a capital ship, but you don't really need a lot of people to run it. So for a small org, that's pretty good, and if you can use it to make a lot of money, then that's even greater. Whether it's an exploration ship, I don't know. I think it depends on the circumstance. If it's a safe exploration area, then sure, because there's not really much to defend it with. But I look forward to sort of seeing what even happens with this. It intrigued me when I first saw it, and yeah, I just had to have it within the fleet to sort of cover that game loop over. And then we have something I am really looking forward to, which is the Banu Merchantman. Now I understand it's gone through a redesign, and that the team who did the redesign is no longer at CIG, I think. So when we get this, I have no idea. It is a luxury capital ship. I sort of see it as being the 890 jump, but on another level. It's from some of the screenshots and the designs, it looks like the ultimate luxury. So you could use it as a luxury cruiser rolling around. You can put an extra ship in there as well, to help defend it. And then as well, it's got the marketplaces. So however those are going to work, we don't know, but a floating marketplace with a luxury element, it was just like, yeah, no, I have to have this one. When we're going to get it, I have no idea, but I really like this option. Like including this within the fleet, when you consider we've got the reclaiming side of things, the mining, and then whatever science will bring. It gives a good base to be able to sort of say, right, this is where we hold all of our stuff to sell, whether we're selling it direct or to other players. We have our marketplace. Maybe there's going to be, within the space one, there's going to be a bit of industrial work where we can produce components and things like that. We never know. But this as the sort of the capital ship, as a bit of a roaming base as well, it gives me quite a cool aspect of the game where, we're doing all these other things, and we've also got a marketplace. We've got a big sort of luxury cruise liner as well, in effect. So when this comes out, yeah, this is staying. I'm not hearing anything of it. It is going to stay in my fleet, and I am looking forward to have this as part of the fleet as well. It's what happens with it, I don't know. So we'll have to see. but I mean, there's plenty of room on this ship for pretty much anything we want to do. And it's probably the one alien ship that'll keep, because yeah, I'm definitely going to get rid of the blade. That's going to be something I just don't want anymore. I just don't like it. But this is an alien ship. It is staying. Yeah, so that is all of the fleet. There is probably going to be some changes. You know, if there is no dedicated cargo runner as part of my fleet, so I am thinking of what I want to include. It might be the Caterpillar, because I quite like the look of it, and also if I can get the skin for the pirate, that makes me sort of want to get it. And as well, I think they're updating it for modularity as well. So however that works, that I think would be a good addition. So I'd probably replace the blade with the Caterpillar. And then I think in terms of fighters, I am going to look at the F-7C Mark II as an option. So we'll see whether I like it or not, to sort of get that. I did test out the Scorpius. I quite like that. And as well, it's quite X-Wing sort of red. We'll figure what else out. But no, thank you guys for watching. That is the whole fleet. And I will see you next one.